Coming up on UCF Nightly News, we spoke to a UCF student accused of animal cruelty, while he says he's nervous about the pretrial.
Plus, meet a first-generation Hispanic student making strides in the engineering field.
But first, SGA elections are heating up. We'll tell you how social media is impacting the race.
In sports, we take you to an Orlando City B team soccer scrimmage to show you the beginning of a new era.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Victoria Q.
And I'm Barmel Lyons. Today is Friday, February 24th, 2017.
Social media is impacting how SGA candidates are campaigning at UCF. Nightly News reporter Talia Blake explains the controversy behind the new trend this election season.
Together, we're going to be stronger, and that's what we plan on doing.
SGA candidates Josh Bologna and Jad Shaloub's allies are coming out and taking to Facebook pages to show their support. VP candidate Jad says the support shows how many friends they have.
If we have friends that have certain powers, you know, we're using an unfair advantage. But the thing is, this is a campaign, you know, and to have friends is the whole point. You know, the more friends you have, the more likely it is that you win.
Their opponent, SGA candidate Nick Larkin, says students should remember that these are controlled groups, which means controlled media.
My opponents tout themselves as the anti-establishment campaign, but then going and bragging about these Facebook groups. They comment about having all these friends in high places, which is just the definition of hypocritical. So if anything, it's just comedic.
Group administrators changed the cover photo on 3 of the UCF Facebook class pages in support of one candidate. Associate Professor Aubrey Jewett says social media has emerged over the last decade as one of the best ways campaigns can spread their message.
Social media does have the ability to sway the way people think sometimes, or at least certainly what they're thinking about and talking about. In other words, that can help set the agenda, even if it doesn't specifically make someone vote one way or the other.
One thing both candidates can agree on:
they're not actually official pages. Those are owned by 2 students, which they have the right to do.
It's not a UCF run page. The administrators are people that we know.
Each class page has over 8,000 members. Reporting in Orlando, Talia Blake, UCF Nightly News.
We will continue to keep you updated throughout this election season. Voting for SGA elections will begin March 27th.
Student Government Association campaigns are in full swing. However, a group of candidates are already feeling the heat because of rumors. We met up with Josh and Jad to see if recent fraternity allegations are impacting their trail to office. Josh and Jad face lingering struggling with trying to forward on their campaign trail. Josh Bologna, member of Phi Delta Theta, has had to deal with the faults of his fraternity. Phi Delta currently on interim suspension due to reports of hazing. Rumors started to fly that the suspension created a speed bump in their campaign, but the candidates say otherwise.
We're pushing through this, and I'm extremely confident that the university and my own organization are going to end up partnering and work through this process together.
Josh and Jad are putting their rumors behind them, moving forward and trying to take the win come election week, March 27th. To continue to follow their platform, follow Josh and Jad on their Facebook and Instagram.
And seeing that mental health is at the forefront.
On the other side of student government elections are Nick Larkins and Christina Barreros. Nick and Christina say they are not part of the Black and Gold ticket, a previous SGA party that no longer stands. Barreros and Larkins chose United as One as their campaign slogan. The candidates shared their response to Phi Delta's current hazing investigation. Barreros says the allegations mirror a critical part their platform fights to avoid.
And seeing that mental health is at the forefront of Nick and I's campaign, we will not stand for someone reporting mental distress because of fraternity interaction. So we will not stand for hazing.
Nick and Christina spoke with Josh and Jad, but both parties avoid speaking about the fraternity's allegations. Students can visit nickandchristina2017.com to learn more about their platform.
The UCF student accused of beating his puppy to death has a pretrial hearing next week. He spoke to Nightly News reporter Bridget Snedeker about why he says the court isn't wrong in accusing him.
Hi, am I speaking with Luke?
Yes, this is him.
Orange County deputies arrested UCF student Luke Stribling on animal cruelty charges against his now dead 17-week-old puppy. A few days before his pretrial, he told Nightly News that he really loved his dog.
I in no way intended for this outcome. You know, I still wish my my little buddy was still here with me.
Stribling has his pretrial on Monday. The defense argues in a court document that the dog was cremated weeks before Stribling was arrested and that photos from the animal autopsy are not enough to determine the cause of death.
Stribling's lawyer didn't talk to me about the case that happened at these student apartments last year, but he did tell me in an email statement that, quote, his client regrets improperly punishing the puppy.
Nightly News talked to Stribling's old neighbor, who says he saw him around every once in a while.
Him particularly every now and again, but I never spoke to him or I didn't even know his name. I would just see him walking around every now and again.
Did you see the dog ever?
Never, not that one.
Stribling says that he's nervous about the pretrial.
I don't think that the court is wrong. You know, like I definitely made a mistake for which I feel incredibly remorseful for.
Stribling's lawyer called what happened a, quote, unfortunate incident. Reporting in Orlando, Bridget Snedeker, UCF Nightly News.
Stribling says he's on interim suspension at UCF and isn't living in the area. Nightly News will be in the courtroom to bring you updates on this case.
Just this month, Central Florida Expressway Authority officials are making changes on toll prices. Nightly News reporter Cami Hernandez has the scoop on the new policy rolling out.
It's just kind of a frustrating process to really see a toll every 4 miles.
UCF student Stephen Knight says he wishes to spend less money in tolls.
Kind of just like takes away from money that I would have, and I don't know, it's just a frustrating process to really think about.
But not for long. Communication specialist at Central Florida Expressway Authority, Brian Hutchins, says the board voted this month to kill a 15% toll increase.
Voted not to do any toll increase in 2017, and then only do a small 1.5% increase in tolls starting July 1st of 2018.
State road officials say if you are still tossing coins, getting an e-pass will save you more money with the new policy.
A person spending $100 in tolls a month over the next 6 years, they could stand to save nearly $1,000 in tolls. That's real money with the board's actions.
Steven says he's happy with this action, which allows him to budget better his expenses.
It saves me money. I get to go out and actually have a burger every once in a while, you know?
Agency experts will be reviewing the new policy in a year to take further action in 2018. For now, they are counting on the high levels of tourism and businesses to sustain traffic patterns. Reporting from Orlando, Cami Hernandez, UCF Nightly News.
Agency officials say the price increase will not affect their highway projects, which are estimated at $1.3 million. For more information on e-pass, visit cfxway.com.
UCF named 21 students for the university's most prestigious student awards, the Award of Pegasus. It awarded to a select few based on their outstanding achievements in academics, university involvement, leadership, community service. The 2017 recipients came from a pool of 65 nominations. Among those is biomedical sciences senior Ari Hadar, who says this award isn't just his, but also for his team.
As much as I felt honored and I felt humbled to be picked, it was really me being picked along with everyone that's helped me get here.
Hadar proves to his professors, community, and peers that he best embodies what it means to be a Knight. Of the 20 other outstanding students, there are 17 undergraduates and 4 graduate students. The winners will be honored at a ceremony on March 27th. All right, so It was sunny. It was very sunny this morning when I was walking outside the door today. It definitely was a nice change from all the rain that's been happening this week. So Talia, I mean, what's the weather looking like outside?
You know, I'm not gonna lie, I originally put on a sweater this morning and then took it off when I first walked out of the door.
I didn't get the memo.
Let's take a look at our current conditions, okay? So right now we're at 81 degrees for our temperature. Humidity sitting at 60%. Wind direction going northeast at about 5 to 10 miles per hour and a 0% chance of rain.
Thank you, Talia. Coming up, learn how students are helping NASA see beyond the stars.
Plus, one workshop teaches the importance of being comfortable in your own skin. We'll show you what UCF is doing to break body stigmas in the LGBTQ+ community.
UCF researchers and NASA teamed up to figure out how to make materials in Mars. Scientists and researchers say 3D printing is a key component when it comes to planning a land on the red planet. This method will allow astronauts to make human habitats, ship parts, tools, and electronics upon arrival. The research is essential to find ways on how to send spacecraft and astronauts without any heavy load. UCF graduate student and NASA intern Kevin Gruzman says he is thrilled to be part of the science behind the process.
Not only am I surrounded by some of the best and brightest people that this country has to offer, but our collective goal of putting humans on the surface of Mars will be the greatest achievement in the history of mankind, and I'm just thrilled to be a part of that.
Experts say spending a significant time on the red planet needs a lot of planning. The goal is for astronauts to make material soil usable with anything scattered in the planet's surface for survival.
A recent report from the U.S. Department of Education shows less than 10% of STEM graduates are Hispanic, but one UCF student is improving that statistic. Nightly News reporter Desiree Montilla tells us how this Peruvian American is making his mark by being a first-generation Hispanic engineer.
And I'll open problem 1.
UCF mechanical engineering student Gonzalo Sari spends his time solving problems and making his childhood dream come true.
I chose mechanical engineering because I used to play with Legos all the time when I was a little kid, and it was up until someone told me, hey, you can change that passion of building to an actual career and help people.
Gonzalo is Peruvian and will be the first engineer and college graduate in his family. His passion for engineering and his culture grew with his annual trips to Peru.
I always go to Peru and I see these low-power communities having engineering struggles from the simple basic things like infrastructure. I was like, wow, one day I want to graduate and help them out as much as I can.
The U.S. Department of Education reports only 8% of STEM graduates are Hispanic. Gonzalo is part of the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers at UCF, focusing on professional development and improving this statistic. Director of the Office of Diversity and Inclusion in Engineering, Dr. Fidelia Nanati, says diversity is important for STEM fields.
Diversity brings a lot to the table. The way you see things is not the way I see things. We can be looking at the same picture and we have different diverse opinion about it. But when we sit at a table and share our views, everybody's enriched.
For Gonzalo, he hopes his impact and Hispanic culture will help others lead by example.
I can encourage other students who are a little tentative in pursuing STEM because, oh, there's not a lot of Hispanics in STEM, maybe it's not for me. So I want to be there saying, hey, if I do it, you can do it too.
Talking to Gonzalo this week, he hopes to continue merging his passion for his culture and engineering. Reporting in Orlando, Desiree Montilla, UCF Nightly News.
For more information on the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, you can visit shpeucf.com.
Coming up after the break, the UCF Hall of Fame has some new members. We'll introduce you to the awarded alumni.
Plus, a new study tells us how we lose food supply. We'll give you details after the break. It's National Eating Disorder Week, and UCF's Counseling and Psychological Services urges students to spread love, not labels, to the LGBTQ+ community. Students gather in Pride Commons, where CAPS hosts a workshop where Knights can identify their label, share it, and tell the group how being generalized made them feel. They wrote out their own labels to break down the stigma surrounding body image issues and eating disorders within the LGBTQ+ community. Registered mental health counseling intern Daniel Garner-Quintero says it's all about the students gaining their power.
So the idea is to, one, kind of recognize the label that they've been living into, kind of process and deconstruct that a little bit about where that's coming from, and then to talk about, like, well, how would you prefer to be labeled?
Pride Commons says it is a safe place where students can truly be themselves.
A new study says the world is throwing away food and consuming more than it needs. A study from the University of Edinburgh shows a fifth of the world's food is lost due to overeating and waste. Scientists examine food consumption and the harvesting of crops. Consumption of animal products is one of the biggest problems with excess eating. Improvements in global food security could ensure that everyone has access to safe and affordable food. The study also suggests it is important for people not to exceed their nutritional needs in order to feed the expanding population.
The university's College of Business is celebrating 3 new members to its Hall of Fame. Over 700 alumni, faculty, students, and friends honor the college's most distinguished alumni and partners last night. Sonia Dixon, Michael J. O'Donnell, and Antonio Moreno, Jr. were inducted into the Hall of Fame. The college awarded them for their exceptional work in the community, university, and profession.
I am truly honored to sit beside such well-respected and talented leaders.
And all you folks that helped put something like this amazing thing together, thank you.
The partnership rewards recognize the CFE Federal Credit Union and Lockheed Martin. Entrepreneurial Alumni Awards were given to Chip Headley, Rockham Apparel, and Justin Weatherhill. And Notable Knights Awards recognize Joe Bartitto, Kevin O'Connell, John Gill, and Yvonne Baker.
The sun is out to play and it's going to be perfect weekend weather. Talia, what can we expect this weekend?
You know, the Sunshine State took a break from its reputation earlier this week, but it's definitely redeeming itself today. All across the board, we are seeing above average temperatures in the 80s. The only area seeing anything below 80 is Jacksonville at 79, Orlando at 81, Tallahassee, Tampa, and Miami at 82 degrees right now. Now, we started off foggy in most places, but that's really just what happens when we have temperatures in the mid-60s early in the morning, then rise to the 80s. Now, though we are sunny and warm for the weekend, it is going to stay that way for the rest of our Friday. There is no chance of rain across the board as the low pressure system carrying the rain has pushed eastward off of our coast. All across, 0% chances of rain. Now, I want to talk about the lows as they are pretty drastic from our afternoon highs. Don't be fooled by the warm afternoons as it will get fairly chilly in the evening. Temperatures will go from the low 80s to the 60s. With the wind, it will feel even chillier, so you might want to bring your jacket if you head out tonight. Tallahassee at 58, Jacksonville following at 59, Tampa and Orlando 63 in the middle, and Miami up at 65 degrees. Now, let's look at our 5-day forecast. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday will be comfortable in the 80s. Our lows will be 50s and no chance of rain.
Thank you, Talia. Coming up in your sports news, the Lions are back on the prowl. Find out how the Orlando City Soccer Club is preparing for their season opener.
Plus, the UCF baseball team is hitting it out of the park for their season. We'll tell you how after the break.
Hello UCF Knights, I'm Courtney Jacobazzi here to give you the Knights highlights this week. It was a week full of winning for the Knights, and it all started at the baseball game on Tuesday when we took on the UNF Ospreys. The Knights kept its winning streak alive this week by defeating the University of North Florida Ospreys 3-2 Tuesday night. The win came after an opening series sweep against Siena last weekend. Sophomore pitcher Bryce Tucker closed out the 9th inning by striking out the side to earn the save. Tucker believes the Knights will continue its recent play on Friday when they begin a 3-game series against Manhattan.
I hope and expect a win, definitely, but I mean, we're going to go out and we're going to swing it, play a lot of good defense. We got a great guy pitching, Robbie Howe. I mean, proven starter most definitely, and expect a win, definitely. We're going to go out and do the job.
Offensively, Rylan Thomas led the Knights with some timely at-bats. The first baseman came up with a huge single to the left field in the 4th inning to get the Knights on the board. Overall, the Black and Gold are batting over 300 to start the season. First pitch against Manhattan tonight is scheduled for 7 p.m. Orlando City B Soccer kicks off their season in a few weeks, and the UCF men's soccer team got to take their part in the preseason preparations. Orlando City B battled the Knights in a scrimmage to test its fitness ahead of the 2017 season. The friendly gave multiple players an opportunity to showcase their talents and allowed UCF to continue its spring training. OCB head coach Anthony Pulis complimented the Knights, saying that UCF was a formidable opponent.
For me to see that we come up against a good opponent, because you want to be tested in pre-season. You don't want to just come up against opponents and just walk all over them. So they were great. So full credit to Scott and his coaching staff and the players there.
Both teams created plenty of scoring opportunities, but the match finished all squared at zeros. OCB will continue its preseason training next week as they prepare for its season opener against the Tampa Bay Rowdies on March 25th. And that's all the time we have for sports today. Back to you, Victoria and Barmel at the desk.
Thank you, Courtney. That's our time for right now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on our website, nightlynews.ucf.edu.
And if you have a story idea, send it our way. You can reach us at nightlynews@ucf.edu. Thanks for watching and have a good day.